Hello everyone, I am Storyteller. Today we're going to talk about the American Civil War. By the mid-19th century, the mighty United States had 36 states, divided into two opposing forces. The North, with its superior capitalist industrial economy and small farms based on livestock and wheat production. The South, with its backward plantation economy, mainly growing cotton, brutally exploiting black slaves. The North saw the slave system as an obstacle, as slaves couldn't participate in the advanced industrial production. Cheap slave labor made the South unwilling to buy the North's machinery. Conversely, Southern landowners clung to slavery because they needed manpower. In 1850, America expanded its territory to the west, a fertile land for development. Both sides wanted to seize this region, developing it in their own way, capitalist industry or plantation slavery. The conflict became even more intense. Initially, the two sides compromised through the Missouri Compromise of 1820 and the Compromise of 1850, allowing some slave states. But this didn't last. In addition, the conflict between centralism, the Republican Party, mainly in the North, and decentralization, the Democratic Party, mainly in the South, had been simmering for a long time. In 1860, the presidential election took place. The Republican Party, backed by the industrial capitalists, with candidate Abraham Lincoln, won. He condemned the slave system, declaring he would abolish it. These words made the Southern states fiercely opposed. Soon after, 7 states seceded, establishing their own government with Jefferson Davis as president, forming the Confederate States of America. Abraham Lincoln did not recognize it, considering it an act of treason. No nation recognized this confederation. On April 12, 1861, at 4:30 a.m., Confederate troops, under the command of General P.G.T. Beauregard, fired on Fort Sumter, igniting the bloodiest war in U.S. history. After Fort Sumter fell, both sides frantically engaged in an arms race, strengthening their armies. On April 15, 1861, Lincoln issued a proclamation, recruiting 75,000 volunteer soldiers to quell the rebellion. This action caused 4 more slave states to secede. On April 19th, Lincoln ordered a blockade of southern ports, causing shortages in the South. On April 20th, General Robert E. Lee rejected the North, resigned, returned to his home in Richmond, Virginia, and took command of the Confederate Army. In early summer 1861, General Irvin McDowell, commander of the Union Army, led 35,000 volunteer troops to capture Richmond. Confederate troops, commanded by Thomas J. Stonewall Jackson, fought fiercely, repelling the Union Army. Seizing the advantage, the Confederate Army captured southwestern Missouri. On July 27th, George B. McClellan replaced McDowell, preparing to attack the South. On March 7, 1862, Union troops regained southern Missouri. McClellan led Union troops to attack Richmond. General Robert E. Lee strengthened defenses, ready for a decisive battle. The two sides fought fiercely. Robert E. Lee shattered the plans of the Northern commanders. After the defeat, Lee devised the Northern Virginia Campaign, attacking the North, capturing the arsenal at Harper's Ferry. With overwhelming firepower, they captured this base. Lincoln was forced to trust McClellan to command all forces around Washington against Lee. On September 17th, the Battle of Antietam, the bloodiest day. McClellan intercepted Lee's army at Antietam Creek, Maryland. 23,000 soldiers were killed, wounded, or missing. Lee had to retreat. Victory belonged to the Union Army. On September 22nd, Lincoln issued the Preliminary Emancipation Proclamation, dashing the possibility of European intervention. After the defeat, Lee repeatedly stopped Union troops. On January 1st, 1863, Lincoln officially issued the Emancipation Proclamation, freeing all African Americans, calling on them to enlist. The war to protect the government became a revolution. By June 3rd, Lee led 75,000 troops, launching the Gettysburg Campaign, attacking the North a second time, heading for Pennsylvania. General George G. Meade was appointed commander of the Union Army. In this battle, Lee's army was utterly defeated. He had to retreat to Virginia. On the Western Front, the Union Army won consecutive victories. On July 4th, General Ulysses S. Grant captured Vicksburg, seizing the last strongholds on the Mississippi River. Confederate forces were cut off. Thanks to this feat, on October 6th, he was promoted to commander of the Western Theater. Continuing, Grant led troops to Tennessee, relieving Union soldiers. The march caused Confederate troops to retreat, handing control to the North. On March 9, 1864, Lincoln appointed Grant as General-in-Chief, General William T. Sherman, commander of the Western Theater. Grant adopted a new strategy, attacking simultaneously from multiple directions. The main target, Virginia. Many major campaigns were undertaken but met fierce resistance. Grant was forced to change. He ordered troops to besiege Petersburg. On June 5th, Union troops missed the opportunity to capture Petersburg, cutting off the South's supply line. Petersburg was besieged for 10 months. In July 1864, Jubal Early, under Lee's orders, threatened Washington, D.C., hoping Grant would reduce the siege force. On July 11th, the only battle in Washington, D.C. broke out. Early attacked Fort Stevens but failed. In this battle, Lincoln witnessed the fighting. Early continued to attack the Shenandoah Valley, burning Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. Grant sent Philip Sheridan to suppress it. Many battles occurred. Sheridan defeated Early. Confederate troops fled to Richmond. Meanwhile, Sherman captured Atlanta. This was a major victory for Lincoln during his re-election campaign. On November 15th, after burning Atlanta, Sherman led 62,000 troops to Savannah, Georgia, completely controlling it, preparing to join Grant. On April 2, 1865, Grant attacked Petersburg, breaking Lee's defenses. Lee abandoned Petersburg, retreated, but was pursued and defeated. The next day, the Union flag flew in Richmond. On April 9, 1865, at Appomattox Courthouse, Virginia, General Lee signed the surrender, ending the war. After the war, black slaves were freed. Voting rights for blacks were recognized. However, blacks were still not equal. It took 100 years for the U.S. to officially abolish racial discrimination. You've just watched the video. Let me know your thoughts by commenting, "What do you think?" If you like it, like and share. Don't forget to subscribe to Storyteller and hit the bell so you don't miss out on exciting content.